Welcome everyone, and we are here with a bonus episode. So with this bonus, I will be covering on Edge the whole strategy that you should of course know at this stage, considering we are towards the end of your awakening journey. So you should get a lot more clarity in understanding and putting the pieces together in this way. You can get a nice solid rule set to trade from. So as you can see on the screen, we are trading gold over here. So with that being said, we are using the awakening checklist. As you can see on the top right, you should have watched the tutorial at this point of how to use it, how to modify it in however you like, I guess. Mine's is in the top right. I just think it's personally the best place to put it. So it's kind of out of the way of charts. You can put it wherever you feel. So starting off with the checklist that we have in our top right corner, we have our very first complements, which we need to check, and that is, has Asia session ended? Now, something to bear in mind with gold, or should I say commodities, and some indices, including US 30, the market does close actually an hour later. So if you do remember, I mentioned it's 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., an 8-hour window for the Forex pairs. For gold, however, it is from 12, as you can see, till 7. So it is 1 hour later as opposed to the rest of the pairs. So do keep that in mind. Also, what's really, really nice for you is built in on the trading view indicator, so you don't need to worry at all. But just if you're a little confused, you're wondering why is that 12, you should probably know that, but for the indicator aspect, it should be prefixed anyways, so I can answer that question, although there's an hour missing usually. In this case, yes, Asia session has ended. So we just scroll down and we tick on our checklist and we get a gorgeous check mark over there. So perfect. Now let's just remove that so we don't get so messy with our drawings. The next question is, have you identified potential medium inducement zones? Now, just a little recap is anything outside of our Asia range, low or high, is going to be a medium inducement. These 2 points are minor inducements. So minor and minor again. So just to keep that one in mind, just a little basic lesson, should I say, and everything outside of that will be considered a medium inducement. In this case, of course, we have minor all the time. Minor always exists, and every single day a minor inducement is without a doubt going to occur by breaking out of either side. So when it comes to medium inducement, however, we do need to mark that up and have a bit more of a thought process of what's going on in line with liquidity. Of course, we will get to the liquidity stage just a little bit later in the checklist, but first, do we have potential medium inducement zones? So from what I can see, we do have this point here, right? Again, I'm not really marking it up as like equal highs or anything, but it's a medium inducement zone that we can, of course, extend. So we have medium, just write medium. Oh, top. So we have a medium inducement zone to the high side, meaning sellers liquidity. Do we have anything to the downside that's not Asia? Technically, yes, but this is very, very low. So we have to be realistic when it comes to how much price can potentially move in a day. The chances are, if we've had this the day before, we're probably not going to be going all the way back down there and mitigate or whatever you want to expect from that. So we need to think of something reasonable when it comes to maybe a potential continuation at least till this point. So likelihood is somewhere down here we may induce, which will be a medium inducement zone. Not as clear as this point. As you can see, it's this high over here. When it comes to these areas, they are medium. They just require a little bit more detail, or should I say attention, when it comes to that. So we can indeed see this overall liquidity point over here. We can generally mark that up. In terms of price coming down here first, so let me draw that up with a polyline. Like if it comes here. Oh, Jesus, what is that? Oh, gosh. some retail tools accident. Let's get the polyline wherever that one is. So, I have forgotten where that one is. Polyline, there we go. We have the right tools. So if price does come down here, for then price to extend all the way here, can be possible. But remember to ask yourself a question, how can price induce as much as it possibly can? The chances are that that's a possibility, but it's just one move essentially. So inducing low and then inducing high. However, we need to think more like the market makers and how they induce continuously throughout the day when it comes to retail liquidity. And what that can include, let's make sure we pick up the right tool again. It can include potentially reacting here, maybe reacting there, chopping around a bit, maybe making an equal high, etc. And then coming lower, building liquidity, coming higher, etc. Something along those lines. Again, that is a little bit brief, but just to bear in mind to understand the story, that's really, really key. So do keep that one in mind. However, at this specific point, we're not going to make anything up. We're going to play with what we see, or should I say trade what we see. And the question is medium inducement zones. We did technically mark up one here. We do have this point here. I did draw it up as liquidity, but in terms of inducement zone, we can of course aim below this potential POI, right? That's liquidity. This is a potential inducement zone. You can also mark up below that. But again, when it comes to intraday and possibly the first or second market intention of the day, I want to go in steps. So this could be the second one. So I could write second potential medium inducement. See, so perfect. And you, of course, should know what the one above that is. It's going to be your first potential inducement. So, not sure what happens with my capitals. I'm going to write medium. Inducement. Oh my god, damn. Not sure what's going on there with my spelling all of a sudden. So we have two potential medium inducement zones. So one to the high side as well. Potential second one, potential first one. We're going to play out the story in steps. Keep in mind when it comes to market intentions throughout the day. So first market intention, we may not possibly come down here. However, what we can potentially expect is our next point over here. Have you identified potential POIs? We potentially may actually mitigate in here. I'm not going to actually refine this to a 1M. I'm going to keep it to a 5M purely because I will not take this as a mitigation regardless. I need to wait for lower time frame confirmation. 5M, it's a pretty big zone. We can even check on 1M if we have to for something that's a bit more refined. So something a bit more refined is down here. We will just mark that up for argument's sake. Again, we're not smart money traders, so we don't just randomly guess POIs and say like, it must mitigate over here. Well, it might not. That's why we don't do it. So in this case, I'll just mark that up as 1M in the middle of it all. So 1M potential POI. Oh, what's going on there? Let's just put that at the bottom so it's out of the way a little bit. So overall, it's a 5M. I just want to see potentially a reaction within this area in order for me to potentially trade it. And even then, I need my confidences. So without continuing further, we do need to actually check them off. So we did do our medium inducement. POIs, well, let's check if we're finished. To the high side. This is an interesting one because I do not expect, let's go here, that one so much to be a POI. It depends. We can mark it up. It's going to depend on what price does first. So we have a potential one there. If price, for example, induces high, oh my god, damn, I did that one again. Okay, my bad. So if price, whatever, does something like this, reacts, we get our confirmations for us to take sells, then potentially we can, of course, take sales and then maybe mitigate here again, confirmation, continue, etc. And then, of course, break through completely. I can't really do that just yet because, yeah, it's in the way. But it really depends what we actually get straight off the Asia to know what may be the POI and what may be the smart money trap. So I will mark up both zones. So again, we're not having a specific bias. We are open. There is liquidity to both sides. I will get onto that once I've taken POIs. So the next question is liquidity. So have you identified in which direction are they creating liquidity? Okay, let's mark up liquidity. I think it's one liquidity point here is pretty clear. You can probably identify this huge amount of double tops. I did just extend it because it is the high, so it does make sense regardless. Now, to the downside, do we have anything as well? We technically do get some sort of trend line formation. It may continue as we get outside of Asia. Again, it's a matter of waiting and seeing what's going on. I can't predict that just yet. I simply need to wait. So liquidity-wise, from a basic level, we have marked up pretty clear liquidity. We don't need to go in depth and mark up these points over here because they are outside of the window anyways. They should not matter. You do get your inducement low. That's completely fine, but we are not going to mark up those bits because they're not relevant just yet. So let's take that one off. Liquidity. Next question. Have they induced Asia range? This is the matter of where we need to actually now continue price action. So let's continue what's going on here. Ooh, okay, so already I can tell you we have continued that trend line. Again, it's not perfect, but it's overall pretty clear that price is building liquidity, early buyers getting into the market. From what we can quite literally see right now, price has induced Asia high. So potentially expect price to come lower. Again, if it hits anywhere in this overall zone, whether it's refined or not, we still need to wait anyways. So that being said, we can go on 1M. If 1M does actually come back to mitigate this POI over here, so we can refine that quite nicely to a 1M. If price does give us a relevant break of structure, only to then mitigate, for example, we continue down here, get our relevant break of structure of this point, come back to mitigate, then of course we can at minimum even target this point as opposed to just the Asia range. So we can extend our nice risk to reward in that case. Again, we need to wait and see. So we have, of course, induced outside of Asia range, so we can actually tick that one in this case. Again, it's going to depend on both sides. We have two sides of Asia range, so I'm not going to go too in depth when it comes to that just yet. I need to see the whole story play of, are we actually taking sells? Are we taking buys? Are we able to take both and capitalize? It's going to depend quite literally as we speed things along and see what price is doing. Okay, that's your smart money trap. Why? Are we going to really create this trend line forever? Likelihood is not. So anyone that takes that, they get induced. So yes, you get induced. Okay. Okay, from this point, it actually looks like price may not actually come back up here, considering we are literally just a few moments away from Asia low. So the chances are now, again, combined momentum mitigation, you will probably be able to see this as a smart money trap if price does not get back here before inducing Asia low, potentially in this POI, because then there's no real targets. So for now, I have marked it up pretty early. Actually, we could quite literally reverse. So let's actually just see what price does. Yeah, the chances are that's going to be a smart money trap upon reversal. So sells looks like we just missed them. Buys, potentially we can, of course, expect something. Again, I am not so eager just to take a buy if it reacts anywhere in here. That is a ridiculous zone. So I am not in a fuss. We're just going to wait and see what price does. Okay, it's creating liquidity at the lows, creating this, support or whatever you call it, equal lows, etc. And before you know it, we induced right outside of that one. So looks like price is forming liquidity. It's not so clear exactly. I could just mark up some lines like such, like that. But I'd rather just wait for liquidity to form because I can't be entirely sure what's going on there. So we may, in fact, have a build of liquidity, inducement, potential relevant break of structure, mitigation. That will be our ideal cycle. Again, we want to wait for a reaction away from the inducement and a pretty clear one as well before we, of course, potentially take the mitigation of the inducement candle. So we are now in London Open. Perfect. This could be our window. We are quite literally a few speckles away from our POI over there. So what that likely means is London may be our absolute perfect trade of the day, as we have got a timing window set right now and intention to potentially reverse. So, oh, that looks like it just about missed POI. Okay. Again, just keep in mind what's going on here, creating this liquidity. I can't, again, mark that up super clear. It's pretty messy, actually. I can mark it to the high side, intention to go higher, potentially. But again, this is not enough for me to just enter. Again, in this specific scenario, we are getting a reaction. The only thing is we have an imbalance over here, and it's not necessarily the imbalance of the inducement candle itself. When it comes to the inducement candle itself, it technically is this gray one over here. If I just remove the drawings for a second, this gray one over here is technically that inducement candle. However, the reaction away from it didn't give the imbalance of the inducement, so it's not a mitigation of the inducement candle. That's simply an imbalance. I'm not too keen on that personally. I don't really like trades like that. If anything, I'd rather wait to see what price does. Could induce low one last time, as that can be seen as liquidity. So we will just keep that zone marked up. I'm not keen on it. I'm quite certain it's just simply an imbalance. It doesn't fit our criteria of a pure mitigation of the inducement candle anyways. So yeah, let's see what price does. Again, no need to get FOMO, seeing price go bullish. And this is exactly what the market makers want. They want you to get FOMO. People execute all over the place at this stage. I'll execute here, breakout traders, etc., breaking out of this zone. Again, smart money potentially will get induced here by taking that imbalance. We need to be smarter than that and think outside of the box of what we should expect and potentially expect this as a fake move, as we like to call it. So yeah, let's see how that goes. Okay, potentially. Yeah, but that's personally, it's not in my criteria of what I see as mitigation. It's simply an imbalance, not in the right place for me. And that is perfect reason why. So we can just remove that one. Perfect. And from here, we just simply need to wait for a nice reaction. Now, already, what I can tell you, we've left an absolutely amazing imbalance. What's better is we wait for a relevant break of structure. So now, before I actually do continue, let's mark it off our checklist, because we've now had a medium inducement low. Well, not technically a medium inducement low. We did get our medium inducement high. If you realize, we get our medium inducement high for this liquidity. Low-wise, I wouldn't say it's the clearest inducement because there's only imbalances over here. However, in this specific case, we've got a medium inducement target. So that being said, do we have a relevant break of structure from the inducement? This is quite simply what we need to wait for. Now, what that would essentially be in this specific case will be something at least above this at minimum. Again, I'm not going to guess where this relevant break of structure occurs. Okay, so let's see how, I don't know why I've drawn it like that. Let's just keep it like this and hope it breaks over. If it breaks over, then I'm looking at this POI for mitigation. Perfecto. So, ooh, okay, we're getting double tops or resistance, whatever you want to call that. Even better. Okay, so we've already broken through, so I'm pretty happy for that as my POI for an entry. And keep in mind, you can see already stop loss is looking great on that one. It's not a crazy stop loss, a bit like if you just take that zone, your risk to reward is pretty bad if you were just to take something from there, that 5 MPOI. Look how much we can refine it. So before we do continue, we need to identify, is this a valid trade opportunity? I know that's not on the checklist, but it's always something to keep in mind. Does the risk to reward justify itself? So does it justify itself? Let's see. Even if we were to aim for this point, which is likely a smart money trap right now, why is that? Because we do have a target higher, which is this smart money trap or potential zone. We have this liquidity hill, this medium inducement of whatever structure you want to call it. So let's first even to our very first at minimum point over there. We've got a juicy 13 to 1, and that is pretty realistic. I can almost guarantee that will occur. Again, don't want to use words like that just for legal reasons, should I say. But the chances are I personally can guarantee it will at least reach here. If we were to aim a little bit higher to our absolute maximum target down here, that will extend to a 19 to 1. However, I will actually look to the left a little bit just to identify where price can potentially reverse, etc., or how we can maximize this target we have going on. But before that, I want to see if we are able to even get tagged into our entry. Also, what's really, really nice about this has occurred in London Open. If we get the mitigation in London Open, that it would be incredible. If not, that's also fine. We've had our main move in London. That's all that matters. So let's continue that one. Ooh, price is going very, very bullish. Lovely. Usually for me, when it comes to relevant break of structure, that is quite a big amount. I don't usually like stuff like that. Again, keep in mind, I don't really use structure. It's just that very last confluence. So either way, it's a little bit overstretched for me. But we can, of course, mark that one up, as we did forget. So relevant break of structure. So let's see how Paris does return. It's returning, which is great. It looks like we're going to extend outside of the London window. That's also fine. So let's speed it up a little bit quicker. What's really great, what you're seeing right now, is what? Liquidity of a pullback. Perfect. That only helps us what? Get a nicer target going higher, because now we've got sellers coming into the market a little bit too early, because when we enter buys, they will get induced. So this is looking great. Oh, that shaky moment. Oh, what's great about this? We get perfect liquidity. It just couldn't be more clear when it comes to the liquidity element. We could even mark it up there. It's a bit late in seeing that one, but generally speaking, and for like backtesting, etc., understand how price moves and if it's creating liquidity or if it's the actual move itself. In this case, we see really clear liquidity. Oh, thought it was gonna run away from us for a moment, but hopefully if it can just come a speckle lower, that will be amazing. I'm pretty happy with that one. So you're tagged into your entry. Great. Target wise, we did have a couple of targets. So your smart money trap is your absolute minimum target over here. And we have another potential POI. Again, if it's a POI, I need to see a reaction from it anyways in order to take potentially a pullback. But we have got a medium inducement target over here. Can we potentially see why that is, or if there's something to the left? So if we just see that one. Okay, this is great, actually. This is really great. So this POI, if I just extend it to the left, you already can see that's some sort of smart money concept stuff. So price already reacted from there the previous few days, whenever that was. Right now, is that valid? Is that going to hold? Likelihood is no, it's not. So that's why we can understand where did this reaction come from? Well, it came from a previous POI that already had a reaction. So the chances are when it reacts again, it's not going to hold. Keep in mind, this was, of course, the previous day, pretty late in the day. Volatility is a little bit low as well. However, can we extend our target a little higher? If it wants to induce a little bit higher here, I don't also expect it to just reverse. I can potentially think about extending my target at minimum above this little trend line over here. So you can see if I mark it up like such, I would like to see price at minimum come above that. So I can extend my target a little bit more. Again, that might be room for improvement. I'll have to see how price roughly reacts in this area as we get closer to price action getting in this area, hopefully. So that is a gorgeous 22-1 at minimum. It's a pretty nice trade to start off your day, or even you're done for a week, for a month. So let's actually just speed that up quite a bit now, because we're not really interested in anything else. For a bonus, what I might do is add some mastery trades to this, see if I can identify the on-edge mastery that we do teach in the adventure. So if I can find another continuation trade, that will be great. So we're going to wait for that one. Again, I would not be break even. That's another thing to mention. I don't just hit break even straight away. Ideally, you want to create for a new high, etc. Because if you have such strong confluences like ourselves over here, we've marked up everything, the whole story in this specific case, we can, of course, be confident in our analysis that we don't need to be break even instantly. Because you do get times where price does tap twice or maybe 3 times. Again, that's usually rare, believe it or not, but we are still open to that. Before I continue, let's mark our checklist. Retail break, relevant break of structure, my bad, not retail. After inducement. Now, POIs with imbalance, we did mark that one up. Again, I'm a little late on this checklist, apologies. Hope you've been keeping your eyes on that though. Target, we literally just identify target. That's a pretty nice checklist, all green. Lovely. So let's actually just speed things up a little bit, and that will be great. Again, what are we doing? We're building liquidity. We may get something lower. If we tap again, that will be a little bit annoying, but it's what it is. We are not at break even anyways. We have very strong analysis here. Oh, that's almost, that's a very close one. But now, what have we done? Inducement high, breaking out of this liquidity. Again, we have so many little cycles here of liquidity that it's super, super clean when it comes to why price moves a certain way. So do keep that one in mind. So it's getting a bit slow and choppy. That's, of course, probably due to the fact we are building something. Okay, so let's do some on-edge stuff. Gonna take that mitigation over there. Bonus. And I will extend that target to the same point just there. You're 19-1. It's pretty juicy. Continuation trade. Perfect. Again, I'm going to extend these points out actually, so we're getting closer to them. And again, you can already see what's going on there. That was liquidity being built. I don't need to even mark that up because I know my direction is going against this little trend line thing. But what you'll notice is like, again, trendline traders. Apologies if you're one of them. But like, when you extend it and stuff, and then you wait for the retap of the trend line, and you can take your buys. So if price comes here, people are going to be taking their buys. Smart money is actually getting a little bit screwed over there, as you can see. And then, of course, trendline traders, they're going to be taking their buys anyways. So, ooh, smart money is already out of the picture there. This could be a potential little reaction of our trap there. Lovely. Let's see. Touch off the trend line. Lovely, jubbly. Or maybe not. Oh, see, trend line traders at this point are absolutely excited. It's actually funny. But yeah, look, we're almost approaching target. They're going to be holding this for like, no, they try to hold it for like a week or so, or like 4 days, 4-hour time frames. But I'm quite certain that's not going to hold at all, as we are literally approaching our target very soon. So let's see our target. Medium inducement. Remember that one? That one is over here to the left. I'm just going to go and find them, just so it's a little clearer for you guys. Medium inducements already induced. We can check that one off. Lovely. Now, this was that absolute high target. Again, I really do expect it to come to that point, because if price was to react from, let me get my pen, anywhere in this zone, the chances are it's actually going to break out of that zone, as we do indeed have a really nice liquidity level to the left. Let's just undo the drawings and I'll show you what I mean. Just as a reminder, if you remember that liquidity point, so if price was to actually react in here, it's only reacting at liquidity again, and that's not what we want. We want an inducement of liquidity. So let's just see that clearer on a 5M basis if we do actually reach target. Ooh, trendline traders. Now they're probably getting a bit messed up at that stage. Ooh, okay. I think I can see something going on here. To take a final on-edge trade towards our target, I potentially can see something nice going on here. Let me just wait for a bit of a reaction. Okay, perfect. This will be my next buy. Again, this will not have the same risk to reward. Let's just see where that low is. I think it's there. The same risk to reward. It won't have the exact same one. However, it is a really nice 6-to-1. Needless to say. So if we get that reaction, that will be absolutely incredible. 3 buys, of course. These are bonus ones in this little episode. You could try to figure them out. However, they are taught fully in the adventure. So, oh, even better. What are we doing here? Creating liquidity. Lovely. This only helps us understand that price is definitely for a fact going to react above this point. So let's extend that line too, see if price does get even to that point as well. Lovely. Lovely jubbly. So again, what's price doing? It's creating liquidity. Great. It's getting choppiness. It's confusing people. What's price doing at this stage? Are we going to sell? Are we going to buy? What are we going to do? Oh, wait, that is absolutely perfect. That happened a little too quick, that inducement candle here. And I am on the 1M as well, so that's a very nice wick. Target's complete quite literally perfectly at this stage. So we have 3 really nice buys, 22-to-1, a 19-to-1, and a baby 6-to-1. Again, that's an on-edge one. It's usually, as we're approaching target, you're not going to get the amazing risk to reward, as you probably can figure that out why, as you are close to target. So with that being said, you can close your trades and expect your next market intention of the day. Again, we can just quickly do a bit of on-edge stuff over here and speed things up a bit and potentially aim for some sort of stealth. That would be nice. Not seeing what I want to see just yet. Okay. Okay, I think it's looking good from here. Okay. It's going to be my trade. Right there on edge. Target. Target about there. It's a 10-to-1. It's a pretty decent one. So that will be, again, even in intraday, this is not your most confirmed trade. It's the on-edge ones. However, I'm going to wait for my confirmation trade. And that should be very, very confirmed when it comes to sells. So let's hope We reached target. Okay, I've reached target. Close that one. Next target would be, let's see how. Okay, just need to see something. Okay, so we've got a 10-1 over there. Lovely. Okay, the confirmed trade that we get. Perfect. Target. Now, what was my target for this one? The confirmed sell when it comes to the mastery stage. I'm going for my first potential medium inducement, not the second one just yet. So let's speed things up and see if price does get somewhere in our range. Oh, this is great. This is absolutely great. Perfect. And just like that, we have taken our sells. Let's just hope they reach target, which will be great. It's gone 5M just to speed things up a little bit for you guys. Perfect. Target's reached. You get a nice 15-1. So, with that being said, that's pretty much the end of this little bonus episode. I did, of course, cover 4 additional trades pretty briefly. Again, these are quite literally the intraday level when it comes to our mastery students. So, just to show you the actual potential of what you really can achieve with the 19-1, a 6-1, 10-1, and a 15-1 additional in a day. However, with yourselves in the awakening, you also achieve pretty nice stuff. And this is why we call it the foundation of building intraday mastery. So your 22-1 is pretty decent when it comes to one day of trading, or should I say one morning of trading. So you can't really complain about that. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this little episode, this little bonus on edge training, should I say, as well as the little bonuses that we just showed you. Keep backtesting and ensure you, of course, study everything. Enjoy.